What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Alignment Football. And today's video, I have a very special guest in town, and he brought me a little bit of a care package to show to you guys today. You guys have been asking for it on every single video. So today I have the Nike Zoom Force Savage TD Lineman Cleat. So usually when you pick these up retail, they retail for around $140 US right now, but they are actually on sale for $105. I'll link it down below. Now, before they came out with these cleats, they had the Nike Lunar Beast cleat. They've actually done a ton of upgrades to those and come out with the brand new cleat I have in front of me here. The first thing they basically did to change up these cleats is colorways. So the Nike Lunar Beast only came in a very small amount of colorways. They've already rolled out, 6 different colorways in East Bay, and they have a couple more on Nike's website. So it kind of depends who you order through. Will depend on what you can get as far as colors in your specific size, all that kind of stuff. But they do have a lot of colorways, and hopefully, with the way this cleat is designed, they'll have a lot more colorways that are a little more custom friendly in the near future. Okay, so the categories we're going to be covering today are the fit and comfort. How much they weigh. That's really important. Definitely the traction with the bottoms on them here. And of course the durability with the cleats as well. Okay, so we'll start with the fit and comfort here. So now there's a couple things you can see right off the bats with the cleat. What we have here is, we call this the flywire system. Basically how it works is it goes inside the cleat. When you tighten your laces, it actually pulls the cleat nice and snug to your foot. Around the back we have a kind of similar system as well. When you tighten up these laces here, it pulls on that, pulls it against your ankle as well, so you don't have a lot of loose room around there. And actually one nice thing about these is they fit a little smaller. So with my Nike, my Roche, my normal shoes, I use a 12.5. These, the 12, fit me perfectly. And also sometimes with cleats, you kind of have to go a size, half size up, so they fit if you have wider feet. They've designed these for alignment, so they've already made them a little wider, so I didn't even have to go a size up or anything for them. So they do fit a little small, I found, so you can kind of look into that as well. Now, as far as the comfort goes for the cleat here, they do have a couple different things. So the whole bottom, which you can see here, is called they have a full length Zoom Air in the bottom. What that basically is this entire system inside here and throughout this whole cleat is kind of like an air pocket that kind of squishes down while you step. So they're incredibly comfortable to be in on, I was walking and tried on concrete, turf fields. So they're super, super comfortable to wear. And, even on the inside here, there are some, little things that you notice. Stuff like, some of these ankle pads on the inside, you can see those green ones there. So you have a lot of comfort around your ankle. And even with this piece here on it, when you want to put the cleat on, because this piece isn't attached like it was on the Lunar Beast, it's a lot easier to open these up so that way you can get your foot inside. It is still a really snug fit, but they're definitely a lot easier to put on and take off than the Lunar Beast before them. Now, the only really downside I see to these as far as the fit and comfort goes is just because they do have all the foam padding on the inside, the whole shell, the hard nose on the front. Wearing them, when I was testing them, your feet do get pretty hot. But again, with most cleats, unless you're doing like the super low cut, you're going to have some ventilation issues, especially when you're trying to get that padding and protection that you'd rather have. So, it's definitely a really good trade-off to have that comfort and that protection and have a little less ventilation. So overall, for your kit fit and comfort, I'm actually to give these a 9 out of 10. The only one thing I'm basically taking off is just if there was some way that they could make them a little better ventilated, obviously they should do that in the future, but this is a pretty good start for now. Okay, so the next thing we're going to get into here is the actual weight of the cleat. Usually with lineman cleats, how heavy they are because they have the big studs on the bottom. They're made of like a really durable material, and they're just really heavy and clunky and a pain. These are actually super, super lightweight. The first way they do that is obviously with the Zoom Air system on the bottom that makes the cleat pattern really lightweight. This is obviously very protected in the front here. I'll get into that a little more later, but the entire back of it is this whole foam material. So this is all really, really lightweight. So again, literally the lightest lineman cleat I've ever touched before. They're super, super light, super, super comfortable to wear. So overall for weight, they could be lighter in comparison to like the Vapor Carbons or, those kind of cleats. Because we're talking about lineman cleats here, these are the lightest I've ever held. So we're giving these a 10 out of 10 for weight. Okay, now what I think is the second most important category for a lineman cleat is actually the durability of the cleat. They're basically making it durable where it needs to be durable. So the cleat pattern on the bottom, without it being screw and spikes, These studs are super, super durable. They're not going to wear down you as quickly. You know, other stuff here, like the kind of things which, you know, they added here is all these rubber triangles on here. This helps protect your toes. So it's meant to help protect your toes against getting stepped on, but also because the rubber, it's not like if someone steps on here with a cleat, it's not going to rip the fabric or anything. So that's how they kind of keep it throughout this area on purpose. And that way it's going to kind of help protect in those safe areas. Nothing on the cleat is screen printed. Everything on here is sewn on. The one screen printed thing is actually the logo, the Force Savage logo right there, but that's, again, that's a super, super small detail. From their design and how all this should work, I think it's going to be a super durable cleat, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 right now. The only thing I ever really see going wrong is just the screen printed logo right here. That's the only thing that I think should wear down on you. Okay, and the last category we actually have to talk about today is the traction. And again, that's the most important part of a lineman cleat, is this cleat pattern on the bottom and how it benefits you. So with this cleat pattern here, okay, the first thing is the levels of the cleats. So we actually have a couple different levels here, you know, as far as these ones here versus some on the back here, you know, just comes some small ones inside here, that kind of thing. So we do have different levels. So the places where you need to be able to really get in the ground, they have them. Places where it's not as much and there's a little more movement, kind of like your heel, they're smaller, so they still get the job done, but it's not at the point where it's uncomfortable because they are too long. Now, another good thing, and they're in the very similar placement compared to the Lunar Beast. A couple differences would be with the Lunar Beast, we actually had the talons on the inside here to grip. They changed these to these smaller triangles as well. And actually the biggest, most effective change that these added is making these into the triangle shapes now. The Lunar Beasts were actually circular before, they're like little cylinders. With these being the triangular shape they are with the super sharp edges on them, it gives you an incredible amount of grip, which is really good. Another really small thing, the Lunar Beast was also flat all along here. They basically kind of gave this kind of like a little bit of a bumpy texture, so that even gives you a little more grip as well. But honestly, it's a small detail which is super, super important here. As you can actually see, they've added more of this kind of rubberized coating of these triangles on the inside here. That way when your foot, say if you're kicking back with this left foot right now, and this foot's dug in the ground, you might not have these side of the cleats always in the ground, but the way your foot's angled, you still have this stuff moving and getting in the ground, so you're still getting grip on the entire part of your foot. So it's a super, super small detail that actually makes a really big difference. And yeah, so for the traction, I'm actually gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I think these are absolutely perfect. Honestly, these are my favorite lineman cleats I've ever used. Totally recommend to really anybody. And you know, they are so lightweight, you could even use them at, you know, fullback, running back, linebacker, outside linebacker, right? Some kind of those positions, defensive end, tight end. So some before you get in your really skilled positions, I think these would also be really handy as well, especially because they're not too big, they're not too bulky, and they can serve a lot of different ways for you. So there you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Again, as always, if you liked the video, let me know down below by liking it. That way I know what kind of content you guys want me to produce. Any comments, questions, anything like that about the cleats, don't forget to leave those down below as well. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks.